Take full responsibility for everything in your life. This is the foundation of personal empowerment. It's the decision that shifts you from being a passive observer of your circumstances to being the creator of your reality. When you truly accept responsibility for your life, you stop blaming others, circumstances, or the world at large for what's happening to you. You realize that the control always resided within you, but you had to claim it. The first thing that happens when you take full responsibility is that you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of life's unpredictability and instead start seeing yourself as the captain of your own ship. When you take responsibility, you remove the tendency to blame others or make excuses. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And instead, you ask, what can I do to change this? Responsibility doesn't mean accepting guilt or fault for things that happened outside your control. It's about acknowledging that. No matter what happens, you control how you respond. And it's your response that determines the outcome. Life will throw curveballs, this is inevitable, but how you deal with those moments will define who you are and the life you lead. The second you make that shift, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of external circumstances, and you realize you have the power to change the situation. Instead of being frustrated, angry, or upset about what's going wrong, you get curious. You ask, how can I turn this around? What's the lesson here? This mindset shift is the key to navigating life's challenges with strength and resilience. By taking responsibility, you stop being at the mercy of the world and start steering the wheel of your own life. The next step is understanding that your decisions are the things that shape your destiny. Every action you take, every choice you make sends you down a specific path. The simple fact is, your decisions are everything. Asterisk, asterisk, they create your present, your future, and everything in between. The results you are getting right now, whether in your health, your relationships, your career, or your finances, are all the direct result of the decisions you've made up until now. And here is the game-changing idea. You can change your decisions at any moment. Asterisk, life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. When you make decisions, they ripple through your life and your reality. Some decisions are big, life-changing moments, while others are small daily choices that seem insignificant but add up over time. It's the little decisions, like whether to get up early, whether to take that extra step in your fitness routine, whether to forgive someone or hold a grudge, that make all the difference. Over time, these small, consistent decisions create the life you live. The beauty of this realization is that you have the power to change your life at any moment simply by changing the decisions you make. If you're unhappy with your current situation, instead of blaming everything and everyone, time to ask yourself, what decisions am I making that are keeping me stuck here? Asterisk then, change them. It's not about one big decision that instantly transforms everything. It's about creating a series of small decisions that compound and build momentum over time. Every day, you make hundreds of decisions, and if you make just one of those decisions differently, it can alter the course of your life in a profound way. Making empowering decisions consistently, even in the face of fear or uncertainty, is what creates long-term success. Your decisions have the power to shift your reality, to redefine what's possible for you, and to propel you toward your true potential. When you recognize that your destiny is shaped by your decisions, it's impossible to underestimate the power of conscious choice. You realize that the moment you decide to shift your actions or beliefs, a world begins to shift with you. But you have to make the decision, and you must make it often. It's the cumulative effect of these choices that dictates your future. When you look at challenges in your life, how do you see them? Do you see them as obstacles, roadblocks that prevent you from achieving your goals, or do you see them as opportunities for growth? The reality is, challenges are an inevitable part of life. Everyone faces them, but it is how you respond to these challenges that determines whether they hold you back or propel you forward. The most successful people are not the ones who avoid challenges, but the ones who embrace them. They know that challenges are simply a part of the process of achieving something great. They view challenges as opportunities to learn, to grow, and to develop new strengths they didn't know they had. Instead of being overwhelmed by the situation, they choose to see it through the lens of possibility. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become stronger, wiser, and better? This mindset shift doesn't happen overnight, but it is one of the most powerful tools you can develop in your life. The moment you decide to view challenges as opportunities, your entire perspective on life changes. You stop feeling like life is something that happens to you and start seeing it as something that is happening to and for you. Every obstacle becomes a lesson in disguise, an opportunity to refine your character and expand your capabilities. The challenge itself may not go away, but your ability to handle it, to adapt, and to rise above it becomes much stronger. When you face a challenge with this mindset, you tap into an incredible power because you realize that your life is not defined by the difficulties you face, but by how you respond to them. People who embrace challenges understand that failure is not the end, but rather a step along the way to success. It's a moment to pause, reflect, adjust, and then keep moving forward. The question is never, why is this happening to me? But always, what's the lesson here? This approach turns what most people view as a setback into a springboard for progress. The power of choice is what truly makes all the difference. You get to decide how you respond to every situation. You get to decide whether you'll let the circumstances control you or whether you'll take control of the situation. When you embrace challenges, you also embrace personal responsibility. You no longer wait for the world to change. You take action to change yourself. Now, let's talk about the story you tell yourself. The narrative that runs through your mind daily is more than just words. It's the framework through which you interpret the world around you. And here's the thing. The story you tell yourself shapes your reality. It creates the beliefs you hold about yourself and your capabilities. And those beliefs determine what you can achieve. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough, not worthy, or not capable of achieving your goals, then that becomes your truth. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the moment you change the story, you change your entire experience. By telling yourself that you are capable, worthy, and resourceful, you begin to act in alignment with that story. You'll start making decisions and taking actions that reflect the belief in your own potential. The story you tell yourself is the lens through which you see the world. If you view yourself as a victim, as someone who is powerless and at the mercy of life's circumstances, you'll attract more situations that reinforce that belief. But if you change the narrative and see yourself as a creator of your own destiny, as someone who has the power to shape their future, you'll begin to make decisions that support that new belief. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about rewiring the way you perceive yourself and your possibilities. The stories we tell ourselves are often rooted in past experiences, in moments where we felt less than or incapable. But those stories do not have to define us. By consciously choosing to rewrite the story, we can create a new future. A future where you are empowered, capable, and in control of your own fate. Your beliefs are not fixed. They can be reshaped, reframed, and upgraded at any time. By shifting your internal narrative to one of possibility, empowerment, and strength, you unlock a new level of potential within yourself. And when you believe that anything is possible for you, you begin to make decisions that support that belief, ultimately changing the course of your life. The next critical aspect of transformation is the concept of raising your standards. Too often, we live beneath our potential because we've set our expectations too low. We tolerate mediocrity in our lives, whether it's in our health, relationships, career, or personal growth. And as a result, we never truly tap into the immense power that lies within us. When you raise your standards, you refuse to accept anything less than your absolute best. It's about setting the bar higher and holding yourself accountable to it, regardless of the obstacles or challenges that may come your way. When you start to raise your standards, you stop settling for average. You stop accepting just good enough and begin to demand more from yourself. The way you show up in the world changes. You stop procrastinating, stop making excuses, and stop tolerating behaviors or results that don't align with the highest vision you have for your life. The way you speak, the way you act, the way you take care of yourself, everything begins to shift. Raising your standards isn't about being perfect, but it is about being consistently committed to becoming better, to constantly pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible. The power of shifting your perspective cannot be overstated. How you perceive the world around you, the situations you face, and the people you interact with will determine the quality of your life. Everything you experience in life is filtered through your perspective. And the moment you change the way you view the world, everything begins to shift. If you're constantly focused on what's wrong, on what you lack, or on the obstacles standing in your way, then that is the reality you create. But when you decide to change your perspective and start seeing the world through a lens of opportunity, possibility, and gratitude, you open yourself up to a completely new experience of life. One of the most powerful perspectives to adopt is the belief that obstacles are not roadblocks, but opportunities in disguise. Life is going to present challenges. It's inevitable. But it's how you respond to those challenges that makes all the difference. Most people see a challenge as something to avoid, something that is threatening or punishing. But when you adopt the perspective that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, you begin to view life differently. Instead of being paralyzed by fear or frustration, you see each challenge as an opportunity to expand, to learn, and discover new strengths within yourself. This perspective doesn't mean that challenges are easy or that they don't require effort to overcome. It simply means that you stop seeing them as something negative and start seeing them as something that can push you to new heights. When you approach a challenge with curiosity and a desire to learn, you shift your energy from resistance to acceptance and from fear to empowerment. This mindset change transforms the way you navigate difficulties, turning them into stepping stones rather than obstacles. By shifting your perspective on challenges, you can face any situation with confidence, resilience, and a sense of purpose. Similarly, when you change the way you view failure, you completely transform your relationship with it. Failure is often viewed as the end of the road, a signal that you're not good enough or that you should give up. But failure is not the end. It's simply a part of the journey. In fact, failure is a necessary step on the path to success. The most successful people are the ones who embrace failure as a learning opportunity, who are willing to fail, get back up, and try again. The shift in perspective comes when you stop seeing failure as something to fear and instead see it as feedback. Every failure provides valuable information about what doesn't work and points you in the direction of what will. This reframe allows you to take risks, try new things, and push your limits without the fear of failure holding you back. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the closer you get to success. Another critical aspect of shifting your perspective is the ability to focus on what you have rather than what you don't. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools available to us, yet it is often underutilized. When you focus on the things you lack, on what's not working, or on what you haven't achieved, you put yourself in a constant state of lack. But when you focus on what you have, on the blessings in your life, on the progress you've made, you shift into a state of abundance. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from problems to possibilities, and from limitation to expansion. By changing your perspective in this way, you begin to create a life that feels more fulfilling, more abundant, and more aligned with your true potential. Your thoughts and emotions shift to a higher vibration, and as a result, you attract more positive experiences into your life. You start to see the world not as a place of limitation, but as a place filled with endless opportunities waiting to be discovered. When you embrace the idea that the quality of your life is determined by the way you choose to see the world, you unlock the potential to change everything. You realize that no matter what happens in life, you always have the power to choose how you perceive it. And the moment you shift your perception, you begin to create a new reality. Next comes the principle of continuous improvement. Personal growth is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey. The key to long-term success and fulfillment is committing to daily, incremental improvements in every area of your life. Success isn't about achieving perfection. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Every day, you have an opportunity to make small improvements that add up over time. The magic happens when you consistently take action, when you focus on becoming just 1% better every day. This approach to growth is powerful because it removes the pressure of having to be perfect or have everything figured out right away. Instead of focusing on the massive leap, you focus on the small steps, the daily actions that lead you to where you want to go. Every decision, every action, no matter how small, contributes to your overall progress. Over time, those small improvements compound, and before you know it, you've created massive transformation in your life. The beauty of this approach is that it's sustainable. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one go. It's not about making radical changes overnight, but about committing to a process of constant improvement. Each small action, each daily habit contributes to a larger vision. And as you continue this process of growth, you'll find that the results become inevitable. By focusing on daily improvement, you create a mindset that is always forward-focused, always evolving, and always striving for excellence. Instead of feeling defeated by setbacks or challenges, you see them as opportunities to learn and grow. You realize that the path to success is not a straight line, but a series of steps, each of which takes you closer to your goal. The key is to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. Because in the end, those small steps lead to extraordinary results. One of the most important shifts you can make in your life is to choose empowerment over victimhood. We've all experienced pain, loss, and disappointment. At some point in our lives, life is full of challenges, and it's easy to fall into the trap of blaming others or external circumstances for our struggles. But the truth is, when you blame others or the world for what's happening to you, you relinquish control over your life. You hand over your power to the people and situations you blame. The decision to step out of victimhood and into empowerment is not about denying your pain or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to take responsibility for your experience. To recognize that no matter what happens, you always have control over how you respond. By choosing empowerment, you realize that you are not at the mercy of anyone or anything. You have the ability to shape your reality through your thoughts, actions, and beliefs. Choosing empowerment means understanding that you always have choices. You may not be able to control every situation, but you can control how you react to it. When faced with adversity, you can choose to feel defeated and powerless, or you can choose to find strength, to learn from the experience, and to keep moving forward. The moment you decide to stop playing the victim and take responsibility for your emotions, your choices, and your actions, you reclaim your power. When you choose empowerment, you shift your focus from what you can't control to what you can control. You stop giving your energy away to things that are beyond your control and start focusing on the one thing you can always change: yourself. Your mindset, your attitude, and your response to life's challenges are all within your control. By taking ownership of your life and your emotions, you move from a place of helplessness to a place of strength. You stop seeing yourself as a passive participant in your life and start recognizing yourself as the creator of your reality. Empowerment is about embracing your inner strength, acknowledging your ability to change, and refusing to stay stuck in a narrative of helplessness. It's about making the decision to move forward, no matter the obstacles, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. Life doesn't always give us what we want, but it does give us what we need. And when you choose to empower yourself, you start to see every challenge as an opportunity to grow, to expand, and to become more resilient. The more you step into your power, the more you recognize that nothing outside of you can truly limit your potential. The only limits are the ones you place on yourself. When you operate from a place of empowerment, you become more resourceful. You tap into a higher level of creativity and innovation. You begin to see solutions where others see problems. This shift in perspective is transformative because it allows you to navigate even the most difficult situations with confidence and resilience. Instead of feeling like life is happening to you, you feel like life is happening fey for or fey you. You recognize that everything you face is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to move closer to your ultimate goals. The more you choose empowerment, the more you elevate your life to a higher level. The final key to true success is embracing failure as a necessary and valuable part of the journey. Failure is often seen as the ultimate setback, the thing to avoid at all costs. In fact, most people fear failure so much that they don't even try. They hold back, they procrastinate, and they limit themselves out of fear of making mistakes or falling short of their goals. But the truth is that failure is not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Failure is simply feedback. In the end, the most profound truth is this. You are the creator of your own destiny. Asterisk, asterisk, every moment of your life is shaped by the choices you make, the decisions you take, and the perspective you choose to embrace. The keys to transformation are within you. The decision to take full responsibility for your life, to raise your standards, to act despite fear, to continuously improve, and to choose empowerment over victimhood. These are not just concepts. They are the fundamental building blocks of your future. When you decide to take full responsibility for every result in your life, you unlock a power that is entirely your own. You move from being a passenger in your life to being the driver, fully in control of where you are headed. No longer will you let circumstances or others dictate your path. Instead, you will begin to see that every challenge is an opportunity, every setback a lesson, and every failure a step closer to success. Raising your standards means refusing to settle for less than you are capable of. It's about demanding more from yourself, pushing your limits, and continually striving to become the best version of yourself. When you set high standards and make them non-negotiable, you automatically raise the quality of your actions, your relationships, and your results. You begin to see the world differently because you are no longer willing to accept mediocrity in any area of your life. Choosing to act despite fear is the moment you break free from the constraints that have held you back for so long. Fear is not the enemy. It is simply a sign that you are about to step into new territory. Every time you take action despite your fear, you build confidence, resilience, and momentum. You begin to realize that the most successful people are not those who are fearless, but those who act in the face of fear, who choose to move forward regardless of how daunting the path ahead may seem. Commit to continuous improvement every single day. Every decision, no matter how small, compounds over time and creates a massive shift in your life. By focusing on getting just 1% better every day, you gradually build a life that is not only successful but fulfilling. You realize that growth is a journey, not a destination. The pursuit of excellence is not about being perfect, but about being relentless in your desire to improve and evolve. Choosing empowerment over victimhood is perhaps the most transformative decision you can make. Life will never be without its struggles, but you have the power to choose how you respond. The moment you decide to take control of your emotions, your choices, and your life, you shift from a state of helplessness to a state of power. You stop blaming others, and instead, you focus on what you can do to change your circumstances. Empowerment is the realization that you are never truly a victim of life's challenges. You're always capable of choosing a different response and turning adversity into opportunity. And finally, embracing failure as feedback is what allows you to move beyond your limitations and grow at an exponential rate. Failure is not a reflection of who you are. It is a tool for learning. Every mistake, every misstep is an opportunity to improve, refine your approach, and get closer to your goals. Those who fail and keep going are the ones who ultimately succeed. They understand that failure is just a part of the process, not the end of the road. The truth is, your destiny is not written for you. It is something you create through the decisions you make every single day. By taking responsibility for your life, raising your standards, acting despite fear, focusing on continuous improvement, choosing empowerment, and embracing failure, you unlock the potential within you to create the life you desire. There is no limit to what you can achieve, no barrier you cannot overcome, and no dream that is too big for you to reach. So ask yourself today, what is the one decision you can make right now that will change everything for you? The decision to step into your power, to raise your standards, to move through fear, to improve daily, to choose to be empowered, and to see failure as a stepping stone. Because the moment you make that decision, you unlock the door to everything you've ever dreamed of. The power to change your life lies within you. Take that step, make that decision, and watch as your world begins to shift. You are capable of more than you know.